Oftentimes, when people hear me and see me, they think that I'm a fool. They think that somehow or another I've lost my mind, that I'm not down with the in crowd. They've said that nobody would love me and that I'm an outcast. But let me say this here now. We can be clear about anything. Please let me be clear about this. And I pray that it's received and understood. I don't want to be one of you. I don't want to be one of you weak men, weak people.
For my brother,
I'd rather
Kendrick
die.
Lamar.
Death is welcome rather than to call myself you spineless black men.
Side high, I ain't your traditional. Rapper smoking medicinal, stayed in detention. Life is all about principles, cynical ass niggas. Sorry that I offended you. I bring something different while niggas sounding identical. I'd rather drown in a swimming pool than to let you imbecile stop me from topping my pinnacle. Try me blocked by the genitals. Trust me, it's not intentional. It's the difference between a gangster and a criminal. Cause real gangsters can't do Breakfast Club interviews. A lot of you niggas don't own a business suit. A slave for every pair of Michael Jordan tennis shoe. But anywho, got your bitch walking around like she winning pool with no bottoms on, just the top of her swimming suit. What you gon' say when the niggas gon' try to get at you? Them in what army, or you just talking in general? Cause in the end, we all gon' die like them Seminoles, nigga. These niggas weak. I'm fucking up, these niggas weak. These niggas weak. I'm fucking up, these niggas weak.
I look at the sorry state of black men in America today, the destruction of the family, the loss of integrity. When as a young boy, black shot down every day for years without stopping, when I look at what we are as black people, I'd rather be dead than to continue to live against such.
Y'all ain't trying to start a revolution. Y'all looking for a restitution. Niggas kill each other every day and ain't no evolution. My partner shot 100 niggas and it was never proven. We just labeled him a gangster and kept it moving. Let me give you the same outcome, separate shooting. A white man kill a black, we holler persecution. So instead of looting, it's time to find some better schooling. You can act like y'all don't understand when I'm elocuting. Did I stutter? I was never Reuben. Y'all ain't no Black Panthers. You wasn't there with Newton. You ain't Marshall Martin. Try to better humans. Instead of all these rappers, we need some better students. It's time to rebuild the neighborhoods that we helped to ruin. And the NAACP, y'all need some help recruiting. Fuck a resolution, let's get some retribution. I feel like Malcolm X when he left the movement. These niggas weak. I'm fucking up, these niggas weak. These niggas weak. I'm fucking up, these niggas weak. Yeah. Y'all know what it is, yeah, I said it, nigga. All you niggas laying up with these bitches with no condoms and shit. Having mistake babies and shit, leaving these women to motherfucking raise your kids by their motherfucking self. Yeah, my nigga, I said it. You don't like what's going on in the motherfucking America, leave this motherfucker. When they said we were free, my nigga, that mean we were free to go back where the fuck we came from, my nigga. Yeah, a whole motherfucking continent that belong to us, nigga. It's called Africa, motherfucker. What the fuck is y'all talking about? Y'all ain't trying to start no revolution. Y'all motherfuckers spent 10 bands on the motherfucking section in the motherfucking club. 10 bands to build a whole motherfucking neighborhood in Nigeria, nigga. Get the fuck out of here.
Hey, man, y'all ain't trying to start no revolution. What up, man? People, my people. Happy 420. I just put a few slides together for y'all. You know, just a little treat. Past some of the intellectual information. Well, I mean, you know, this is intellectual information as well. You know, we're gonna get into the science of some of this stuff, the anatomy and all that good stuff. some of this stuff you might know, and some of this stuff you might not. But this how you trick. This how you trick a motherfucker to learn or something. Cause I know a lot of us smoke. I ain't the only one. I know a lot of us gonna be celebrating this 420. I ain't the only one. So yeah, let me see. Can I get my presentation up? Hopefully y'all have already been celebrating though. I know I'm late. I'm on CPT, Color People Time. I'm about to enjoy once I get off of here too. So let me get right into it. Rondé saying I ain't alone. Mike Jack. Right. Okay, let me see. Yeah, man. So I'm definitely finna wake and bake. Like that's why I'm late. Shit, I was knocked out. Got up, seeing the time, and said, "Man, let me wash my face, brush my teeth, and hop on this thing real quick so I can enjoy it." Yeah. That's actually what I was gonna ask y'all, Infinite Minds. What strain y'all smoking on today? I'm on. I will be after the stream on Sunset Sherbet. I got a jar. My jar mixed with Sunset Sherbet and Jet Fuel OG. So yeah, I'm smoking a party pack. Shout. All right, man. I meant to put a little, spruce up the cover picture a little more, but y'all kind of really lucky I did this shit for y'all because I'm taking away my celebration. My celebration time, man. I gotta punch this clock in a little bit. So, so we're gonna go into very extremely brief origins of 420. See the Sunset Sherbet to the right, one of my favorite strains, one of the strains I'm smoking on today. Okay, so the origins of the term 420 date back to the 1970s. A group of 5 high school teenagers, and this one I was saying the other day. I don't know who might have been in the chat, who might not have been, but it's like, yeah, 420 is actually is a time. It's to be celebrated every day. That's the origin of the term, and this is what I was referring to. 5 high school teenagers in California used to meet at 4:20 p.m. each week in search of a cannabis plant that was supposedly left behind in a forest by a U.S. Coast Guard member who could no longer tend to the crop. They meet at 4:20 p.m. as they were all athletes and had sports practice to attend before that time. Excuse me. The group was nicknamed the Waldos, as they used to hang out by the wall outside their high school in San Rafael, and that eventually that weekly 420 turned into a daily 420 to as a code for getting high. That's a Jet Fuel OG. So yeah, that weekly 420 turned into a daily 420. They would, after school every day, meet up and fired up. Marijuana, and we're gonna talk about that term later on too. Marijuana, also known as cannabis, which is the correct term, the scientific term, or pot, has a long history of human use. Most ancient cultures didn't grow the plant to get high, but as herbal medicine, likely starting in Asia around 500 BC, with evidence of burned cannabis seeds in the graves of shaman in China and Siberia. So they was burning their seeds in a medicinal form in China 500 BC. The history of cannabis cultivation in America dates back to the early colonists who grew hemp for textiles and rope. Political and racial favors in the 20th century led to the criminalization of marijuana in the United States, and that led to that term marijuana too in the United States, though its legal status is changing in many places. Come on with it, Tennessee. The cannabis or hemp plant originally evolved in Central Asia before people introduced the plant into Africa, Europe, and eventually the Americas. Hemp fiber was used to make clothing, paper, sails, and rope, and seeds were used as food. Let me find out these motherfuckers eating seeds. Okay, green crack. I be seeing that. I don't think I ever had it though. Let me go. I think it might be time for a new laptop, bro. This motherfucker be moving crazy now. This is my favorite, and I can reproduce it. All right, I feel you. Yeah, that's jet fuel. But let's see. Now we're gonna go to the anatomy of the cannabis plant. Cannabis is a genus of annual. Cannabis is a genus of annual flowering plant. Cannabis is often divided into three species. You got cannabis sativa. These are the species: sativa, indica, and ruderalis. So you got cannabis indica, cannabis sativa, cannabis ruderalis. We know cannabis indica and cannabis sativa is the ones that we are more familiar with. Cannabis ruderalis is something you don't want. It ain't gonna be no worth to you, not for what y'all trying to do. But there is significant disagreement about this, and some consider these subspecies of the same parent. So it's a back and forth in the science world about this. Cannabis sativa can grow 5 to 18 feet or more. Sativas are more so used as for outdoor grows because they grow so tall. And often have few branches. Cannabis indica typically grows 2 to 4 feet tall and is compactly branched, and that's why cannabis indica is usually used for indoor grow. Let me see what was that? Cannabis ruderalis contains very low levels of delta 9 THC. That's what that is. Tetrahydrocannabinol. Delta 9 THC is what we smoke. Delta 8 THC is the little brother of Delta 9 THC, and that's what is legal to actually sell in the stores here in Tennessee. So I went and got me some Delta 8 Moon Rocks yesterday. It's rarely grown by itself. Cannabis ruderalis flowers also result. Cannabis ruderalis flowers as a result of age, not of light conditions, which is called auto flowering. If you ever grown or you ever familiar with the growing process, you know about auto flowering. They got certain plants or certain seeds that auto flower. It is principally used in hybrids to enable the hybrid to have an auto flowering property. But you see on the side, we have the flower at the very top, the tip top. This whole top piece right here is called the cola. The calyx is these small little nug pieces that stick out and point out. The trichomes is, we'll get back to that. You'll see a more clear picture. The sugar leaves are these leaves right here. They come out from the sides. The fan leaves are the longer leaves. that poke out a little more broadly. You got the pistils, the nose, and of course, pretty sure most of y'all know what stems is because a lot of y'all smoking them. So, everybody straight? All right. So let's get into trichomes, and I got my boy Gelato on the side. I should have put the actual picture of trichomes, but I got that for you. Don't worry. Trichomes are formed on the plant's surface across a range of taxonomically disparate species, providing a variety of functions and benefits to the plant. So trichomes is not the only. So cannabis is not the only plant that has trichomes. These can include tasks such as affecting leaf temperature and photosynthesis, and more complicated functions such as pest deterrent via physical structures or productions of compounds. Glandular trichomes of particular commercial interest, as they are one of the key plants. They are one of the key plant structures that produce essential oils. I put way too much on this slide. An industry valued at 18.6 billion US dollars in 2020. Other oil producing plants structures are internal glands and other trichome types, some of which are capable of producing resinous secretions. Trichome morphology is highly variable among species and within the plant itself. In cannabis sativa, stalked glandular trichomes are the trichome morph that produces substances and economic value. Work with me, y'all. These words, little shit. I know I shouldn't have put these many words on this slide. These trichomes develop a secretory cavity between secretory disc cells and the cuticle, where secondary metabolites, including cannabinoids and terpenes, are deposited and stored. Excuse me. Though there are a variety of other trichome morphs found across the cannabis plant, they are beyond the scope with this review. While male plants produce small amounts of cannabinoids in cannabis cultivation, the primary products are from the female clusters and inflorescences. So most of the trichome production is from the female plants. That's why you don't really. That's why the male plants don't really get no love. This is sexist industry. What up, y'all? Peace. Make sure y'all like the show and share the show. Appreciate y'all for coming through, man. But yeah, males don't get that trichome love like that. And like I said, trichomes are found in many different plants throughout nature, from anything from heat control to pest deterrent. Like, you can see it in, never mind, we'll come back to that later. I don't want to be doing too much. Cannabinoids are naturally occurring compounds. Now we're getting into cannabinoids because we talked about cannabinoids in this last slide here, right? Somewhere in here. But cannabinoids are naturally occurring compounds found in the cannabis sativa plant. I don't know why it's in cannabis indica plant as well. Over 480 different compounds present. Of over 480 different compounds present in the plant, only around 66 are termed cannabinoids. The most well-known among these cannabinoids are the delta-9 tetrahydrocannabinol or delta 9 THC, which is the main psychoactive ingredient in cannabis. So the most uh, popular cannabinoid is, of course, THC, delta 9 THC. Cannabinol, or CBD, is another important component. That's a cannabinoid as well, and makes up about 40% of the plant's resin extract. Excuse me. Classes of cannabinoids. Got the cannabinoids. The cannabinoids are separated into the following subclasses. You got the CBGs. I ain't finna play with y'all and try to pronounce this shit. The CBGs. You got the CBCs. CBD, cannabidiol. I'm not pronounce that. The THC, tetrahydrocannabinol. The CBN, cannabinol, and the CBDL. And other cannabinoids include the CBL, the CBE, and the CBT. What up, EIE, man? What up? What's poppin', man? Happy 420, everybody. Yeah, okay, so let's get into THC real quick since we got into the cannabinoids, and THC is one of the most popular, the most popular. THC is the chemical responsible for most of cannabis psychological effects. It acts much like cannabinoid chemical made naturally in the body, according to National Institute on Drug Abuse. Cannabinoid receptors are concentrated in certain areas of the brain associated with thinking, memory, pleasure, coordination, and perception. THC attaches to these receptors and activates them and affects a person's memory, pleasure, moments, thinking, concentration, coordination, and sensory or time perception, according to NIDA. THC is one of the many compounds found in the resin secreted glands of the marrow of the cannabis plant. So that those trichomes, where the cannabinoids are produced, this is where you're gonna find the THC, obviously, because THC is a cannabinoid. Other compounds unique to cannabis called cannabinoids are present in the resin. One of the cannabinoids, CBD, is non-psychoactive according to the National Center for Biotech Information and actually blocks the high associated with THC. Right. So this is something I found out a few years ago. The higher, like the CBD, is gonna offset the THC. So if you want to get zooted, get something with high THC and good cannabinoids. High THC, good terpene profile, strong terpene profile, something that's fresh, and something that is low in CBD. That CBD is going to decrease. It's going to offset that THC. So if you're getting something that's high in THC but is relatively high in CBD as well, they're gonna kind of cancel each other out. This is something I learned. Right. Flavor, terps over THC for me as well. But yeah, that's something I learned going to the dispensaries. That CBD, you're gonna get something that's low in CBD if you like really trying to get zooted. THC stimulates cells in the brains to release dopamine, creating euphoria, according to NIDA. It also interferes with how information is processed in the hippocampus, which is part of the brain responsible for forming new memories. THC can induce hallucinations. I don't know what kind of THC or what form I need that, whatever is inducing hallucinations. I ain't never seen shit while I getting high, like they tripping. But I mean, I guess some people with lower tolerances and on that high THC shit, maybe so. Change thinking and cause delusions. On average, the effects last about 2 hours. Again, like what is they smoking? Maybe I need to take a break and come back to it because 2 hours that ain't me. And kick in 10 to 30 minutes after ingestion. Psychomotor impairment may continue after the perceived high has stopped, however. In some cases, reported side effects of THC include elation, anxiety, uh, tachycardia, short-term memory recall loss, recall issues, sedation, relaxation, pain relief, and many more, said AJ Fabrizio, a cannabis chemistry expert at TerraTech Corp, a California agricultural company focused on the local farming and medical cannabis. However, he said a study in the British Journal of Pharmacology found that other types of cannabinoids, as well as terpenes, compounds that produce flavor and fragrance in the plants, can modulate and reduce negative effects. We modulating then. It's the Marathon OG right here, y'all. Shit look good, huh? I tasted it. It's proper. Those Delta 8 gummies is enough for me. Man, I tried a Delta 8 sucker and was mad. It was nasty as hell, and I didn't feel nothing. That was $15 down the drain. CBD, cannabidiol. What is cannabidiol? The second most prevalent active ingredient in cannabis. While CBD is an essential component of medical marijuana or medical cannabis, it is derived directly from the hemp plant, a cousin of cannabis or manufactured in a laboratory. One of the hundreds of components in cannabis, CBD does not cause a high by itself. According to a report from the World Health Organization, in humans, CBD exhibits no effects indicative of any abuse or dependence potential. To date, there is no evidence of public health related problems associated with the use of pure CBD. So pure CBD is the go. They honestly can't for sure say what the hell they do besides belief, but it's a go. It ain't gonna hurt you. CBD has been touted for a wide variety of health issues, but the strongest scientific evidence is for the effectiveness in treating some of the cruelest childhood epilepsy syndromes. Yeah. Can't remember what's that. Charlotte's. Charlotte's Web or something. This little girl named Charlotte that had like some fucked up seizures. She was, I think, epileptic. And they started giving her the CBD and that shit went away immediately. Like she was having like, they say like hundreds of epileptic seizures and shit. But then they started giving her the CBD and that shit wasn't nothing no more. So I was about to look that up for y'all, but I ain't got time, man. Where was I at? The cruelest childhood epileptic syndromes, such as Dravet syndrome and Lennox-Gastaut syndrome, which typically does not respond to anti-seizure medications. In numerous studies, CBD was able to reduce the number of seizures and in some cases stop them altogether. Epidiolex which contains CBD, is the first cannabis-derived medicine approved by the FDA for these conditions. Oh, so animal studies and self-reports and such, or research in humans suggest CBD also helps with anxiety. It helps with insomnia. It helps with chronic pain, and it helps with addiction. Right, that's one of my favorites. My baby right there, GMO, garlic, mushroom, and onions. Some CBD manufacturers have come under government scrutiny for wild, indefensible claims such as CBD is a cure-all for cancer or COVID-19, which it is not. We need more research, but CBD may prove to be a helpful, relatively non-toxic option for managing anxiety, insomnia, and chronic pain. Without sufficient high-quality evidence in human studies, we cannot pinpoint effective doses. And because CBD currently is typically available as an underregulated supplement, it is hard to know exactly what you are getting. So it's a go, but be careful. Be careful in what you're getting, and ask a lot of questions. If you decide to try CBD, make sure you are getting it from a reputable source. Don't be buying no CBD out the street, y'all. And talk to your doctors and make sure it won't affect any other medications you take. Now, terps. This may be something that a few of y'all might not know about, unless y'all done, unless y'all done seen me and Satep show back when we was doing it. Terps is the new wave. Terps are very important. Like somebody said in the chat, terps over THC, and I agree. I don't go into the dispensary looking for the highest THC content strains. I go looking for the company, for one, because companies have certain levels of quality. Two, I'm looking for the date, the harvest date. Make sure it's fresh, because that's going to affect the terpenes. If it's not fresh, then a lot of the terpenes will be done evaporated off, because your terps will evaporate. If you leave that jar open, if you leave that bag open, you leave your weed just lying off in the sunlight or exposed, your terps will evaporate. But what are terps, though? Before I get ahead of myself, terps are naturally occurring chemical compounds found in plants and some animals. They're responsible for the aromas and flavors, even the colors associated with various types of vegetation. So they are chemical compounds produced by said plants that give off a specific aroma and a specific taste. If y'all remember, I don't know, I might be telling my age. Out here in Tennessee, we had like the good mid, like the shit smell like pine. You know what I'm saying? That smell, when you if you get that and you smell it and you think you walking through the woods smelling pine trees, well, guess what? If you was walking through the woods smelling pine trees, those same terpenes are used to produce that smell as is producing that smell in that cannabis plant. It's called pinene. So, and that's just one of the terpenes. You got pine. We're gonna get into it. You got pinene, you got limonene, you got beta caryophyllene, you got myrcene. These all off the top of my head. Hold on, let's not start playing with me right now, laptop. Let's not start playing with me right now, laptop. Okay. In terms of cannabis, terpenes are what makes certain strains smell or taste different from others. They also be processed into produce products like cleaning solvents, pesticides, and dyes. Some even have therapeutic properties like linalool, which would be the terpene that would give you that lavender smell, right? While nearly all plants contain terpenes, some of the more common sources people encounter them include cannabis, aromatic herbs like sage and thyme, and citrus fruits, which you have the terps for citrus fruits like uh, limonene and I can't remember the other one off the top of my head, but we're about to get into it. Terpenes are thought to protect plants from harsh weather and predators. As for what they do in humans, that's still a bit of a mystery, but cannabis researchers and consumers alike increasingly look at terpenes as a way to classify cannabis products and predict their effects. So these, when they see saying predict their effects, because these cannabis, these terpenes have effects to them, like they cause certain effects. They also, even though they're saying they don't really know what they do know that they have some medicinal qualities as well. The main hypothesis is that terpene profile, the dominant terpenes of a strain, work in tandem with the cannabinoid content. The amount of THC, CBD, and other cannabinoids to produce the effect people associate with different strains. So it's more than just THC. These terps play a huge role. These terps play a huge role. For example, they might explain why two different strains with the same level of THC produce such different experiences. Mm. Terpenes won't make you feel high in the traditional sense, but still some are considered to be psychoactive because they affect the brain. While terpenes are intoxicating on their own, some think they will or they may impact the effects of THC, the cannabinoid responsible for feeling high from cannabis. Many cannabis connoisseurs and bud tenders are the people who are um, helping you and serving you in these dispensaries. Connoisseurs and bud tenders say that consumers place far too much emphasis on THC content when choosing a strain. Amen. That's what I was just saying. Instead, they recommend focusing on certain terpene profiles to get that desired effect. And this is exactly what I do. If I can smell it and like, yeah, that shit smell fire. That's what I'm getting. I don't care if it's 18% THC. I don't care if it's 36% THC. Like I'm not going under a certain amount though. I ain't gonna hold you. But like 18, that's really kind of low, like for me. But yeah, like I'm going off the terps. I'm going off the terps. I'm going off the harvest date because the harvest date gonna ensure that the terps that are in there are still pretty fresh. That's what I'm doing. That's me. And if you know what you're doing, you'll be doing the same thing. For example, um, preliminary research suggests that some terpenes could have potential benefits for certain medical health conditions such as anxiety, depression, bipolar disorder, also pain relief, and a few other things as well. There are about 400 known terpenes in cannabis, but experts have only linked a handful of them to specific effects. Here are some common terpenes and their potential effects. Beta-caryophyllene. Beta-caryophyllene is when you smell. I want you to pay attention to your I want you to pay attention to your sack from now on. Look into these terpenes further and pay attention to your sack. Start smelling it. What does it smell like? What terps are you getting from it? Beta-caryophyllene is the terp that'll give like it says, like the rosemary, cloves, hops. And it helps with managing symptoms like depression and anxiety, right? So that's beta-caryophyllene. Beta-pinene is that pine smell that we were just talking about a minute ago. If you have strolled through a coniferous forest and you smell the beta-pinene, you know the smell of beta-pinene, which could also have potentially both antidepressant and anti-cancer properties. So that's beta-pinene. You smell your shit and smell like pine. That's what that is. Humulene would be the terpene found in ginseng. And humulene, I meant to put like the smells and shit like that come from these specific terps. So hold on 1 second, y'all. Humulene is gonna give you like a earthy, woodsy, herbal type of aroma and flavor, and it's found in ginseng, it's found in my bad, y'all. It's found in ginseng, which has been long used in folk medicine for energizing effects. So then you got limonene as well. One of the most commonly found terpenes, limonene, has distinct citrus notes and may potentially have anti-cancer properties. In mice, it has been shown to have anti-anxiety properties. So again, limonene, and you can hear from the name like what type of smell you're gonna get from it. It's got this citrus aroma of lemons, oranges, grapefruits, limes, and other citrus fruits. So then you have linalool. So linalool is the lavender that I was talking about earlier. Lovers of lavender as aromatherapy may want to seek out cannabis with linalool, which may help alleviate stress. So you already get it. It's gonna smell like lavender, right? One of my favorites, myrcene. So hold on, y'all. So myrcene is like something that's found in like hops and mangoes. It also has like a peppery type of smell. So when you smell your shit, it smells a little peppery, like motherfucking, and hit your shit with the salt and pepper. That's myrcene. Found in mangoes, myrcene has antifungal and antibacterial properties and could also have sedating effects. So I'm not, honestly, I don't even remember if I put this in the presentation or not, but myrcene is very, very important. Why is it very, very important? Because myrcene is what the science world, the cannabis science world has found out to separate indica and sativa. What is an indica and sativa? Indica is something that has high levels of beta myrcene, that specific terpene. that's giving you that sedating effect, right? The sativa is something that lacks or has very low trace amounts of beta myrcene. So it's not going to give you that sedating effect. It's going to give you more of an energizing effect. It's going to give you more of a head high, right? Keep in mind that much of the research ground terpenes is still in early stages. Keep high quality studies or more high quality studies in humans are needed to fully understand the health impacts of different terpene profiles. Right, me too, bro. I need that sedation. That's why I love beta myrcene. That's why I love it from OKC. We lived in Cal 99. Oh, okay. Yeah, man. I lived there from 2016 to I just came back to Tennessee in January. But yeah, I'll be back in Cali soon. Indica versus sativa, I did get into it. It's important to know that many of these terpenes you'll find in indica strains are the exact same terpenes you'll find in sativa strains. You'll be wondering how the same exact terpenes create such a different experience across different strains. It's all about the terpene profile. The best explanation comes from a study published by Fundación Cana in 2011. After analyzing the terpene profiles of both indica and sativa plants, they found mostly indica strains were characterized by dominancy of beta myrcene. That's what I just said, right? So this is relatively new. It's in 2011, but people, how long it take people to get up on research that's been put out. So this is relatively new. We're now finding that it ain't just quite as simple as sativa outdoor, indica indoor, sativa head high, indica body high. It's this specific terpene, beta myrcene, is responsible for if you have a sedated high, like a body high, like the stuck in the couch, indica in the couch type shit, or if you have a more cerebral high, right? So with that lack of beta myrcene, you will have more cerebral high. With that presence and the dominancy of beta myrcene, you're gonna be glued to the couch, right? Present in relatively high contents with limonene or pinene or alpha pinene as a second most abundant terpenoid, while mostly sativa strains were characterized by complex terpene profiles. That's why categorizing terpenes as indica or sativa might be a bit misleading. Two strains might have the same terpenes, but wildly different ratios. That's what would make two strains the same with the same terpene profile, very different effects. So while you can definitely find sativa strains that include terpenes below, they're found in much higher quantities in indica strains, right? Oh, I had a video for y'all, but I ain't gonna do all that. It ain't gonna play right now, then I ain't gonna worry about it. We moving on. Racism surrounding cannabis. And I think I might be at the last couple of slides. Today, cannabis, and I try to play the video at the end for y'all. Today, cannabis and marijuana are terms used more or less interchangeably in the industry, but the vocal contingent prefers less historically fraught cannabis. At a time of intense interest in past injustices, some say marijuana is a racist word that should fall out of use. Harborside, which is among the oldest and largest dispensaries in California, says on its website, marijuana has come to be associated with the idea that cannabis is a dangerous and addictive intoxicant and not a holistic herbal medicine. This stigma has played a big part in the stymieing cannabis legalization efforts throughout the U.S. And that is absolutely correct. Me and Brother Satep did a show on Bill HR 3884, which was trying to decriminalize cannabis, get people that have been uh, locked up for cannabis related offenses out of prison, and those who are already out of prison, reimburse them. Anybody who has been affected by the quote unquote war on drugs, reimburse their families. They're also trying to clean the records of these people, and they're also trying to change the narrative of calling cannabis marijuana, because that was used in a racist form, right? Against blacks and Hispanics mostly, but blacks as well. It's clear why a business like Harborside would prefer the more scientific word branding for branding purposes. But does that mean everyone should follow along? The word marijuana comes from Mexico. But its exact origins remains unknown. According to the book Cannabis: A History by Martin Booth, it may derive from an Aztec language or soldier slang for brother. The practice of smoking it arrived in the U.S. From the South during the late 19th and early 20th centuries. Mexican laborers and soldiers carried it into the American Southwest. Sailors brought it from Brazil to Caribbeans when they docked in New Orleans, where black jazz musicians adopted it. In the last few years, the U.S. state marijuana legalization experiments have grown into a multi-billion-dollar industry. But while the companies built out multi-billion-dollar grow houses and edibles factories, huge numbers of people continue to face serious consequences for possessing negligible quantities. After legalization in Colorado, arrests of black and Latino juveniles for illegal possession increased. So they still doing us dirty, y'all. They're still doing us dirty. You see the strawberry banana. I'm familiar with that. This last slide right here. In 2016, there were almost 600,000 U.S. Marijuana arrests, more than for all violent crimes combined. The vast majority of these pot arrests were low level possessions, and disproportionately affected minorities. Statistics show different races use marijuana at roughly the same rate, but racial minorities are far more likely to face punishment. According to American Civil Liberties Union, between 2001 and 2010, African Americans were arrested for marijuana possession at almost 4 times the rate of whites. Of course, relatively few of the 600,000 will serve extended prison sentences for marijuana-related offenses, but having past convictions can still block access to housing, student loans, and employment. So what y'all gotta do is stop just saying, yeah, we want weed legal. Yeah, we want weed legal. Motherfucker, you got to get into the politics. It's been many bills that's out here. That's Bill HR 3884. That was like December 2020, November 2020. Like, they've put out another bill since then. They got another bill up in Congress getting worked on right now since then. Like, we have to get into the politics if we want to actually see something happen, because they're not going to just legalize the shit just because we smoking more of it nowadays. Like, that shit don't matter. So we got to start backing these bills, um, backing these politicians that want to legalize this bill, that have a good plan to legalize these this cannabis, and a good bill to legalize this cannabis, not just because they behind it, but if they have a good plan and a good bill, then we should get behind them, because that's the only way that this shit gonna get legalized. I don't give a damn how much weed you smoking in your state. They not gonna legalize it if the politics ain't right, if the money ain't right. So you know what I'm saying? But yeah, and that is my conclusion. We got to get into this more. If you're a weed smoker, it's a difference between a person that smoke weed and a stoner. Like, I'm looking at terps and all that. When the date was harvested, what company it's coming from. I'm trying to stay abreast into the politics of what's going on in these legalizations or these decriminalizations. Like, take your, if you fuck with Mary, then take her seriously. Take her seriously, man. Let me see. I'm trying to my shit acting up. It want to wait till the last slide to start acting up. I refuse to run from the cops over weed, man. You in a place where you ain't gotta run from nobody over no weed. I'm talking about for legalization. Oh, okay. Yeah, Cali, what is not legalized recreationally, but December the 1st, 2018. But that all that I just spoke on was my conclusion, and also smoke responsibly, and smoke plentifully, if that's a word. These are my sources, yo. You can pause it. You can go back and check them out. But yeah, make sure you do smoke responsibly, and I say that in all seriousness. Like, if you can't handle your smoke, sit your ass down, man. Don't be out here smoking and driving and trying to show out and shit. Like, you don't want to hurt nobody, and you don't want to put that negative stigma on cannabis as is on alcohol. Don't be working and smoking, and if you're smoking with heavy machinery, or you know what I'm saying, like, smoke responsibly, man. Smoke responsibly. Don't be mid is banned today, so like, do yourself a favor, man. Put that shit down. Put it out. Throw it away. I'm not disrespecting me, because, like I told brother Travis the other night, like, that's where I come from. That's my roots. You know what I'm saying? But man, fuck that shit today. It's 12:20, man. You're supposed to be smoking something serious. Let me see you with some mid. I'm slapping that shit out your hand. You just want to fight? We just gonna have to fight, my nigga. You just gonna have to fight. No mid today. Right. Let me see, y'all. Let me see if I can play this video. My shit kind of moving kind of slow, so I might not need to try that. Yeah, see, my shit moving. Shit moving weird right now, yo. I was gonna try to play that video for y'all, but yeah, we'll do that on another day. We'll do that on another day. If y'all enjoyed the cannabis presentation, if y'all want more If y'all want me and Satep to come back, Chavis, he'll probably be into the fold as well. With the coffee and cookies. I almost forgot the name of the goddamn show. Please let us know. Inbox us. Push for the show if you want it, because that's the only way that it's gonna come back out. But I appreciate y'all, man. I appreciate y'all coming through. I'm getting the fuck out of here. I'm about to get